Warren, a longtime friend of mine, for giving me an opportunity to come and see you guys today. Give me an opportunity to see what martial arts training has done for me and help recognize some different goals that they have for you. So first what I want to tell you is about September 11th. I'm not going to tell you anything new. I'm not going to tell you anything different. But on September 11th, the world changed. If you agree with that, and see you raise your hand. The world changed. The world is a different place all of a sudden. We're in the greatest country in the world. But on September 11th, it rocked the world. I have friends all over the world. I got emails, Australia, Russia, Singapore, all over the world. People contacting me with sympathy, understanding, and love for all the Americans that suffered. And everybody was touched by this, especially the people at ground zero. During the course of the day, there were people, the firefighters, the policemen, the emergency medical technicians, the doctors, the nurses, and the average person on the street that helped to make that scene change from a disaster to something more positive. Now I need to ask you, that day, those people, and it wasn't just the chief of police, it wasn't just the head fire department, it wasn't just the emergency medical people, but even the average person walking down the street who lent a hand to someone in need, that day they gave them a new name. What was that person called? That's exactly right. They're called a hero. Because heroes are not people that just do ordinary things, they do extraordinary things. And it takes a little effort and a little caring, but do you think that person, that day, decided to think, well, I want to be a hero. I'm going to come down here right now and help these people, because maybe I'll be on the front of the paper. Maybe I'll be on Oprah. Maybe I'll be in something else. They didn't think about that. Do you think they did that because they had care in their heart or care to make a buck? You know the answer, but you know the violence that's happening now did not start with someone deciding to say, I'm going to fly a plane to this building. I'm going to shoot this person. I'm going to throw a hand grenade in this market. It started before that. It started before these heroes evolved, before these heroes came out. They started with somebody being mad, somebody being irritated, somebody being indifferent to the safety or well-being of others. You know, we're bombarded every day by negative incidences. You know, if you're watching TV, there's 19 negative inputs to every one positive. The trouble with TV, with the radio, with everything, everybody thinks violence is cool. Even people joke about violence. They say, here's a joke. It's violent, but we'll laugh at it. The secret to marriage, someone tells me. They go down to the Grand Canyon. If you've never been to the Grand Canyon or heard anything about it, if you want to get down to the bottom, you ride a mule. So this is the secret of success. The honeymoon couple goes down. They ride the mules all the way down to the bottom, and the one mule starts to buck the wife off the mule. She said, that's one. I'm not going to tell you, stop it again, mule. Starts to buck her off a second time. She goes, that's twice. The third time, she gets bucked off. She takes out a revolver, shoots the mule in the head. The husband says, what did you do? That's unbelievable. She goes, honey, that's once. And you laugh because it's funny, but we're laughing at violence because some of you guys just get it, huh? Honey, that's once. People don't realize, you know, that there's trouble. We're desensitized to violence. 1 out of 4 people here in the last week, statistically proven, has been bullied. 160,000 teenage kids, high school kids, skip school today because they're afraid to go to school because of bullies. It's happening here. It's happening all the time. Talk to Mr. Warren. He goes, "What's the problem?" It said, "You know, is it the drugs? Is it alcohol? Is it, you know, what is it?" He goes, "No." He says, "Disrespect." He says, "And not just the upperclassmen, because that happened to me when I was a freshman. I'm an alumnus of Woodstock Academy. I remember walking through, it's a big campus like this too, walking through a rainy day, and here comes a senior, and I'm carrying a big load of books before we had backpacks. He smashes the books out of my hand. All my books and papers go all over the ground, and the guy says, "That'll teach you. You're just a freshman. You have to learn that the seniors always pick on the freshmen." But that's not the case here. What I hear now is freshmen picking on freshmen. But picking on someone, giving them disrespect, turns in trouble. It's only the first step. 1 out of 10 schools in 1996 suffered problems with murders, violence, drugs, alcohol, rape, bombings. You know, back in 1960, you know what the big problems were? Running in the hall. Not raising your hands and ask a question. Shirt tails untucked. Times have changed. And we have to learn that our times have to change too. So I want to read you something that I got from a newspaper article. And at the end, you may be able to tell me about the people that are described here. This is called, from an article from Newsweek called From Little League to Madness. It's descriptive. It starts out nice and simple. They hung out here quite a bit. They're all good kids. They seemed very sweet. They played Nintendo. They laughed. They had a good time. They joked. They drank soda. They ate hot dogs. They were all around good kids. Eric competed in a community fishing contest. One of his friends reminded him as a normal, fun-loving, shy guy. Both of them were quiet. Had older brothers, loved computers. So far, it sounds like it could be almost any one of you. They played in Little League, but you know, he refused to play if he couldn't get a chance to pitch. Oh, one of the kids, he was the son of a geophysicist, college education father. The other one, son of a disciplined military man. Intelligent, always respectful to teachers. But they began to get involved in playing violent computer games. It was kind of where they come home from school and start playing, and they couldn't get off those games or computer until they went to sleep. They harbored grudges. That's about the worst thing I could say about them. They started to become loaders. One had a diary filled with thoughts of hate and violence. Soon, both boys changed their appearance. They kind of had their own group. They didn't like the kids in the popular groups. They were kind of non-popular. One of the boys started to really be a fan of Hitler and the Third Reich. Sometimes they get harassed in school. They get picked on. The jocks, the football players, they pushed me against the lockers, called them fags, gay boys, punks, made rude comments. Then they made a class project, a video. They were cast students as gunmen in long coats, shooting athletes in the hallway. On Tuesday, April 20th, Hitler's birthday, Eric and Dylan skipped school, and as lunch began, a boy named Brooks saw Eric in the parking lot. He said, "Hey, I like you." He says, "Today would not be a good day to go to school." He says, "I want you to be one of the ones that reads about it in the paper tomorrow." An hour later, shots rang out. Dozen students killed, and a teacher lay dead at Columbine High School. I know you all heard about it, but you know when you say after you read that, I say, it can't happen here. And Columbine's a small town. I have friends that live in the next town over, and they believe that if it wasn't for the bully, if it wasn't for the lack of respect, that this wouldn't have happened. So you need to ask yourself, are there some similarities here? Does the school have a problem with bullying? Could the bullying progress? Everything has a beginning. You have to think about this, from Little League to the Big League. Their goal was to make it to the cover of Newsweek magazine, and they got there. Not the way that we would like to get there by being famous man of the year, but it happens. And they got to take responsibility for what they did, just like today. You guys need to take responsibility for your actions today and every other day. I want to ask you now, so we're going to do some participation. And so, who's the guy that said hero before? Raise your hand. I don't know if I ever reached that far. You got to pass it down. These are mini M&Ms. Anybody like one? Yeah, right. Put your hands back there. Can't have one of these yet. Who would like to be able to earn? You have to be able to give me some feedback. So, this is what I want to ask you now. I want to ask, what's a bully? Anybody see my magic marker? There it is. What are the behaviors of a bully? And don't point one out yet, would you? You're hungry, huh? You want something else? Tell me, what's the behavior of a bully?
Pick on kids.
They pick on kids. They deliberately hurt people, right? So I'm going to write that. It's deliberate. There you go. Give me another idea. Does it happen once in a while, or the girl in the yellow jacket? Does it happen once in a while or often? Often. It's repeated, right? So someone that's bullied, that's picked on, oh man, pass that back there. It's repeated. So first of all, it's deliberate. It's repeated. What's another one? Give me an idea. They have a cocky attitude. You know what I call those people? A victim of stinking thinking. It's the truth, right? You walk down, some kids, you know some people here, they're walking around and go, how you doing? You go, man, I'm fantastic. If I was any better, I'd be twins. Then you see some people that walk around like this and going, how's it going? They go, life sucks. The world sucks. Mr. Warren, I won't say it. I like Mr. Warren. Right? But you know them. Give me your hand up. Can you just hand a little louder? The world has. Oh, they don't want to take responsibility. That's a good one too. They're not responsible. Responsible. Oh, I'm going to go get candy. You want mini M&Ms? Oh no, here, this is for you. Valentine's Day. Whoops. Curveball. Take another one. Oh, see that one? Right on that. Good. So these are, how about this? Is it easy to defend against a bully, or is it challenging? Challenging. What do you, everybody's got a hand up now. Wait a minute. All right, now we got your attention. We'll keep going. Is it challenging? So let me talk about the three types. Physical. How do people see physical abuse? Do kids get picked on, punched, slapped, cut off, pushed around? How many people think that's true? Raise your hand. No candy for you. Put it down. Good. Second one I think about it happens is verbal. People get up in someone's face, they go, yo man, don't like that hat. Drug free, I'll bet. Yeah, right. Camouflage pants. One's from the army. Right? Verbally abusive. I'm not going to give you two candies, so I'm picking on you now. Right, I'm bullying. That's bullying. So you know this, the old saying, when your kid sticks and stones break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's right, but do words hurt? They hurt. They hurt. They cause a great deal of pain. And when they cause you pain, you get angry. You get angry, what happens? Everybody said it one time, try again. What happens? You get mad, you get violent. How about the next type, third type, indirect? I go to someone like indirect. I'll go, let me see. I gotta pick on someone. You know what you usually pick on you? You have braces? You have braces? You have braces? You have braces. Man, that kid's, they have two braces over there. I can't stand him. I saw him talking to some kids and he's obnoxious. He thinks he's cool. That's an indirect direct way to talk bad about someone. You know who I think's the worst offenders is that the guys or the girls? Wait a minute, wait a second. Let's do this, wait a minute. All right, let me ask this section right here. Is it guys or girls? Guys or girls? Guys or girls? I should have brought my stuff. Let me ask you a question now. When people are doing mean things, pushing or shoving or pinching, physical, verbal, talking bad about you, or being indirect, talking behind your back. It's just plain mean. Who said that? Moron. Oh man, I got a curve on that one. See me after. It's mean. So now let me ask you, all those things I said, all those things I talked about, do you recognize anybody that does that? Is it somebody like, do you recognize yourself? Do you recognize someone next to you? It's plain mean. So if you want to be a hero, this is my theme. My idea of hero is helping everyone respect others. Because I don't think heroes are just in New York City at ground zero. I think today if you want to be a hero, you'll stand up for someone and you won't be indifferent anymore. I think if you want to be a hero, you'll say something even when you don't want to. I think if you want to be a hero, you'll help somebody in need. Because we're all going to work together. In my martial arts classes, we talk about team. And my idea of team is together, everybody achieves more. When I was a kid, and then Mrs. Messina mentioned it earlier on, I was standing on a warm summer afternoon over a neighbor's house in the driveway. As we were chatting outside, a group of kids walked by. And of course, they said something sarcastic. And back then, I didn't have too much self-control either. I said something sarcastic back. Well, I thought they'd keep walking, but that was my first mistake. Instead of walking away, they walked right up to me. And they said, "Hey, you say something about me?" I said, "What if I did?" I got even more smart enough. I said, "You ever see Taxi Driver Robert De Niro? You talking to me?" Gave him some attitude. But pretty soon, it started getting a little bigger and louder. And I started getting a little snappier with my answers back. And all of a sudden, just like watching a VCR and watching the film frame by frame, all of a sudden here it came. Click, 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 boom! Right in the eye. And down I went, down to the ground. I lay there for a few minutes hoping he wouldn't hit me again. The pain seared through my eye like you can't believe. Like a shock of lightning bolt hit me. A big flash down there. I didn't know where I was. All I knew was I curled up because I didn't want to be hit again. After a few minutes, these group of guys walked away, and I had to get up and dust myself off. And then I had to go up the hill back to my house. My eye at that time had swelled shut from the punch. I walked into the house. First thing, of course, I saw was my mom, first person. You know how moms react? Not like, "Oh, what happened?" It was like, "Oh my God!" You know, she's spazzing out. And my eyes closed up shut. And I had to walk in, and I almost didn't want to show her. I tried to walk in like this. They're sitting over here, and my black guy's on the side. So yeah, I'm okay. And then the worst thing is I had to explain myself. I said, "Well, I didn't get in a fight. I got beat up." If you laughed at that, see me after. I'm going to give you a special karate lesson. So I had to explain myself to my mom and dad, put some ice on my eye, went and laid down. And then, of course, Monday rolled around. And where did I have to go? I had to go to school. Woodstock Academy, when I went to school, had 2,000 students. How do you think I felt when I got off the bus and walked into the school? On a scale of 1 to 10, my self-esteem is about a -200. I felt so bad, I felt so humiliated, that I begged my parents, "Please don't make me go to school. I can't even face people this way." Plus the guy that beat me up was there too. He's walking around going, "Yeah, I had to kick his ass." You're laughing. It's not funny. Because it hurt. And the pain wasn't just here, although that was unbelievable. But the pain was here. In my heart, in my soul. The pain was incredible. Months went by, after a couple of weeks went by, my eyes started to get better. It was about as dark black and blue as you can imagine. And a few months went by, and I saw an ad in the newspaper for free martial arts demonstration classes. And people asked me, "Hey, how'd you get started in martial arts?" And that was the thing that made it happen. Because for months during the summer, I stayed in my bedroom. I didn't want to go out. I lost my circle of friends. I couldn't have had any more pain than that time in my whole life. And that's what motivates me to learn martial arts and teach martial arts to other people. So I want to ask you now, why do you think people bully? Why do people do that? Give me an idea. I got some more candy. So, yeah, who said that over here? Say it again. You're right, because when you put someone down, it makes you feel better. Pat, yes. Pass that candy back, otherwise I'll have to give you a real martial arts lesson. What was the other one? Over here. You said the same thing, pretty much, okay? Have a candy anyway. Sorry. Why? There's somebody in the back there, tell me. Yell it out, I can't hear you. Why do people bully? Let's pick 10 reasons here. Let me write them down so we don't forget. First one was what? Self-esteem. Make someone else feel worse, make you feel better. Go ahead. The person with the hood on. You say, guys got quiet down so I can't hear them. Can't hear you. Because they're insecure. What's another one? The girl in yellow with the gray sweatshirt. Family problem. Is that what you said? Did you say family problems? How many people do you know if you went to their house, you hate going over there because the mom and dad are yelling and screaming at each other constantly? How about if you went to someone, you know someone, and they're constantly that victim of stinking thinking, they always have the bad attitude, and they're always putting someone down. Give me another reason. Somebody over here at the red shirt. Could you yell it aloud? I still can't hear you. Ignorance! Because they don't know any better. Used as a what? Abused as a child, all of those things too. I'm running out of candy. What do you think? Wait a minute. Wait. Camera time. Peer pressure. Oh yeah, you had that answer too. There. How many people think you've been with a group and what they did was they tolerated it, they tolerated the bullying, and then, even though they didn't want to like it, they took part because of peer pressure. How many people think that's true, isn't it? That's true. This is why I think, you guys can put your hands down for a minute, I'm running out of candy. You have to earn it. This is why I think, how about some physical things? People are fatter, thinner, white, black, have long hair, short hair, funny colored hair, no hair. How many people think that's true? Raise your hand. How many people think it's because they got an attitude?
Oh, me.
Some people have no attitude, stinking attitude, poor attitude. They're a victim of stinking thinking. How about if someone doesn't cut you any slack? Someone doesn't have any patience? There's a lot of reasons. You know what everyone mostly think it is though? I think it's because people have differences. People have differences. They pick on people that are not like them. How many people, if you're like, let me see, like a prep person, right? You wear the Calvin Klein stuff and the Pierre Cardin, and you see people with yellow or purple or red hair. How many people think if that's different, you don't like them?
Different.
How about if you're one of those people that you like to wear the big baggy homie boy pants, and you like to strut around because of a certain idea? How many people think you don't like those people because of the way they dress? Here's your hand. How many people think when it came time for September 11th in New York City that people came out to help people even though they were different? Raise your hand. But what if that person was white and a black person was down on the ground, hurt, bleeding, and dying? Did they stop to help? Say the magic word. Say yes. Yes. All right. How about the person? They went down to help the person. I read this in the paper. They lifted the person up. They pulled the arm, and the arm came off. Who thinks they want to help that person then? Raise your hand. Everybody say yes. Oh, that was cheap, man. Try again. Say yes. I think it's people that have differences that caused the challenge. I want to tell you a story about a farmer. This man was a farmer in China. And in China, you know, in Asia, the main crop that people grow is rice. This guy decided that he was going to become a farmer of a different kind, because everybody grew rice. He decided that what he would do is to grow bamboo. So he went to different farmers and he said, hey, how do you fertilize bamboo? Went to another farmer and says, how much water does bamboo take? Went to some other farmers and said, what are the soil nutrient conditions for bamboo? And everybody thought he was crazy. They thought he was stupid. They started to make fun of him. Because everybody knew it didn't make sense. We should grow rice. We wanted to grow bamboo, we wanted to be different. So the first year he planted his bamboo, after a year went by, people went to his fields, looked around at his crops, and saw nothing. Not even a little twig of growth. Now they started to pick on him back. The second year went by, they went to the fields. He's still standing around, he's putting the nutrients, the fertilizer, the water. Not even a sprig of growth. But he wasn't mad, he wasn't disappointed. Even with those people calling him crazy, they'd drive by, they'd stop, they'd point at him, they'd make fun of him. They said, hey, you idiot, trying to grow bamboo. But if you know about bamboo, bamboo grows wide and deep first for good roots. But bamboo is very flexible. Not only people making fun of him, he said, I'm not bothered because he knows that he had knowledge. The third year came, and you know about bamboo. Bamboo grows very strong, upright. It's also very flexible. Because in the Orient, in Asia, when a big monsoon comes, when the wind blows, the bamboo will bend in half. And as the wind subsides, it will come back up. It's strong but flexible. Just like I hope all the freshmen here are. Strong and flexible. The third year, people came all of a sudden one day. It seemed like it grew overnight. He had miles and miles of bamboo. And the people that made fun of him, the people that teased him, the people that ridiculed him, now all of a sudden came to him because they wanted to share the knowledge. So you know if people are different, if you want to make fun of people, if you think people need to be treated differently, you need to be strong and flexible like that bamboo. Be assured in the idea that you know that you have knowledge to be a person of character and respect. In martial arts, anybody know how we show respect? Some of my martial arts students here, you know that. You bow because you show humility. You humble yourself to bow, to show that you are equal to that person or even subservient. So try to be like bamboo. Be flexible. How many people think you're already planning on graduation freshman year? Everybody think about graduation already? Somebody does. You know, one of the principles I teach in martial arts is to be future focused. So I want to think about, just imagine now, this is not a freshman assembly. This could be graduation day. Because your 4 years are going to go by like that. And I have a really nice poem that I want to read you. It's called The Graduation Speech. It's out of a book called Chicken Soup, and I thought it was very powerful and I wanted to read it. It's by Cheryl Costello-Sorci. And it talks about their graduation day of a high school just like this. It says, Jesse was well liked by everyone, so everybody anticipated what he had to say as he walked up to the microphone on graduation day. For a moment, he remained silent as he peered at the faces from the senior class, and then Jesse leaned from the microphone and finally spoke at last. As your class president, I'm here to speak to you today. I was up most of the night considering the words that I should say. I reminisced on school days of all the things I've done. So many memories came to mind when my thoughts focused on one. And then Jesse held up a photo and moved it all around. As everyone leaned to view it, the silence was the only sound. You could have heard a pin drop as Jesse placed the picture in full view and began talking of a classmate that no one really knew. Charlie's life seemed meaningless compared to yours and mine, because none of us understood him. We never took the time. We only saw what we wanted to, that Charlie was not cool. He was far from being popular, the butt of all our jokes in school. Yes, that we knew Charlie that much we decided on our own. He simply wasn't worth our time. He was an outsider who deserved to be alone.